We have to figure out the length of this line given here in this graph. It would be really nice if we could just simply count the squares and call it good, but unfortunately this line is on a diagonal, so we are not able to do that. What we can do is create a right triangle using the endpoints of this line, and I can tell that that side is 1 and this side is 6. And since this creates a right triangle, here's the right angle, I can use the Pythagorean theorem to find the missing side. So Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Looking at the picture here, I was able to figure out the two legs. And remember, the legs are the sides that are adjacent or attached to the 90-degree angle. And the hypotenuse is what is across from the right angle, and that is always c. So I have an a and a b value, and it doesn't matter which one I plug in where. So I'm just going to do 1 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared. 1 squared is 1, and 6 squared is 36. If I add 1 and 36 together, I get 37. And then I have to get rid of the squared. The opposite of squared is square root. So just like if we had multiplication, we would have to divide to get rid of that. We have that squared, we have to do square root. So I would be left with a c over here, and the square root of 37. 37 is not a perfect square, so we're just going to leave this as the square root of 37. It looks much nicer that way. Now, one other option that you could see is they're going to ask you what's the distance between 2 points, and there's not going to be a picture. So you can do one of two things. You can draw your own picture and do the exact same thing that we just did above, or we can use what's called the distance formula. And the distance formula is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. This kind of looks intimidating and difficult, but it's really not. If you remember when we learned to find slope, we always did x1 and y1 and x2 and y2. It's the same situation here. So the first point is x1, y1. And the second point is x2, y2. So then we just work our way through it and plug in those numbers. So the first number I need is x2. So x2 looks like it would be a 4 over here, minus x1 is an 8, plus, and then y2 is negative 7, minus y1 is negative 3, and then we have to square that. So now what I would do is I would go through and simplify these. 4 minus 8 would give us negative 4. And then a negative 7 minus a negative 3. Well, minus a negative is going to actually be a plus. So negative 7 plus 3 would be a negative 4. Okay. Negative 4 squared would be 16. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. So that both of them are 16. And then 16 plus 16 is the square root of 32. 32 is not a prime number, so we can leave it like that. Square root of 32 is the distance between those 2 points.